Hi, I'm Lou Scott, and this is the Geppetto Room, where you don't have to be creative to be creative. You just have to be you. Now, science tells us, actually specifically physicists tell us that what we see in the world, our environment, is not real, it's not solid. Everything is made up of energy. Everything has a frequency of its own, and it's energy. And not only that, the energy is intermittent. It's like a cosmic. It's like a mosaic. Everything's together. So, in the human being standpoint, if you condemn somebody, or you harm somebody, or you insult somebody, you're actually doing it to yourself. Yeah. Now, you're going to ask yourself, what does that have to do with transformative thinking? Well, a lot. Now, let me tell you, there are two fundamental principles of transformative thinking. One I already told you about, which I'm going to remind you, and one I'm going to tell you about a new one. These are basic foundational principles for you to create transformative ideas. The first one is, transformative ideas have to be compassionate. They have to eliminate the barriers of egotism. They have to eliminate the barriers of self-interest and narcissism. You can't do that. It has to be, the transformative decision has to be good for everybody. That's the first one. We have to eliminate all those other barriers of selfishness. The second one is, I told you about it. Let me remind you. You got to get out of your comfort zone. You have to take the risks. We can't solve new problems with old ideas. Change is constant. And if you think you can allow it to go by you, it's not the truth. Because as change comes, which is more inevitable than the sun coming up in the morning, change comes if you're not ready for it, okay? You're not standing still, you're going backwards, okay? So those are the fundamental things that we have to do. Now, why do we have to do it? Why do we need transformative thinking? Because science and technology is creating our future. Think about what they bring. They bring predictive algorithms. 3 or 4 years, maybe we're going to have inhabiting on Mars. They have artificial intelligence, robots. They have computers that think for themselves. All these things are innovative, creative, transformative. We're going to have to be able to accept that and adhere to it with our own thinking. If not, we're going to be left behind. Your life is not going to be what it used to be. It's not even going to be happy. Now, we have to eliminate the barriers, and we have to think transformatively. And that's why we're doing it, because science is creating our future. Now, let's get to my dioramas. You know how that works. What I do is I try to tell you a story, what the diorama depicts, what I was thinking about when I developed it, okay? While I'm saying that, your mind is creating new pathways. As it creates new pathways, what happens is, you're going to be able to use those pathways for future transformative thinking. That's what it's all about, and that's how it works. So let's go to the first diorama. This diorama I call NFL. It's based on, I was watching a television show in which doctors were interviewing a professional NFL player. And they were telling this player that because of all the concussions he's had all his life, he's going to have a shorter life. He may suffer in later life with epilepsy and Parkinson's disease. He may have suicidal tendency, all kinds of dire things that's going to happen. He listened. And then he said, look, I'm a professional. I'm highly paid. It's all I can do. This is how I support my family. I will take the risk. Okay. Now, some of that I understand. I do understand that, because he is taking a risk and he's being highly paid. What bothers me is that they're heroes. These football players are heroes to young children who are starting to play football, who will start to get their first concussions. That bothers me. We shouldn't be concerned about safety at the NFL level. If you go to an NFL field, what do you see? You see doctors, you see orthopedists, they have hospitals, they have radiologists, they have everything prepared in the event of a problem. Now, on the other hand, what do we have in a high school or junior high school? A coach with a first aid kit? Maybe a nurse, maybe, and maybe an EMT ambulance for big games. That's where our emphasis should be, on safety, not on NFL. They're pros, on the safety of our children. That's where it should be. Now, what's the Geppetto moment? The Geppetto moment is this tool. You have to change the where you think about decisions, where you make decisions. Let me give you an example. If you're in business, the typical decision, you're called into a meeting, you go to a boardroom, and you sit around a table, and you try to create transformatively, okay? It doesn't work, because transformative thinking requires an element of play. Go into a first or second grade class. What do you see? You see color, you see props, you see toys. And watch the imagination of those children. So in some way, we have to be able to create a play area. Tech companies do it all the time. They have thinking areas, decision areas, which are propped, which are like play areas, which are like daycare centers almost. And that's what we have to do, because without that play idea in the environment, you cannot actually create transformative ideas. That's the Geppetto moment for this one, and put it in your toolbox. Let's go to the second one. Second one I call cheetah, the animal cheetah. Now, I've said many times that there are 32 species of big cats, 13 to 15 of which, unfortunately, are on the endangered list. They're becoming extinct. Now, there are a lot of groups of people that are trying to prevent that. So what they're doing is they're taking these wild animals into captivity, they're mating them with a mate, and then the progeny of that mating, when it gets older, they send it outside to the wilds again to create a larger population. However, there's a problem. Cheetahs especially, amazing. Cheetahs, a female cheetah will not mate with anybody that's not 4 or 5 generations away from her. She won't mate with her brothers or sisters or second cousin, third cousin, or fourth cousin. That's a problem. She's very particular about her mate. It's a problem. Now, what's amazing too is, how does she know? Instinctively, she knows that this individual, this male, is too close for descendancy for her. Now, that amazes me, I'll tell you why, because it took probably man 1,000 years, if not longer, to figure out that it's not a good idea, to marry your cousin, your brother, your sister, and so forth, which we did in the early days. She knows instinctively. The bottom line of the piece is, let's not arbitrarily kill and destroy these animals because they have so much to teach us. Think about that. Now, what's the Geppetto moment? What can we learn from the Geppetto moment? Now, the Geppetto moment is walk the stores. Sounds crazy. When I have an idea, or I'm thinking about an idea, and I have to make a decision, I go to a price chopper. Why do I go to a price chopper? Because I'm surrounded by thousands of packages, big ones, small ones, fat ones, colorful ones, although every you in the universe I see there, words on the packaging. That packaging has been created by some of the best creative people in the United States. Most of the time, and you might notice, most of the time the package costs more than the ingredients in the package. So take advantage, walk through the stores, look at the packaging, get involved. It will generate patterns in your mind, and those patterns in your mind will help you generate transformative thinking. However, there's one caveat, and this is the caveat. Do not use this tool if you're hungry. If you're hungry, you're going to walk through that store and buy food, more food than you'll ever eat or want to eat. That's the caveat. That's the Geppetto moment, and I hope it helps you. It does help you because it's stimulating. Let's go to the third piece. Third piece I call Superwoman. It's one of the more serious pieces, Superwoman. I've created a lot of pieces about women because I was always trying to find the answer. Why do men enslave them? Why do we subjugate them? They're physically not equal to us, but they're equal because they can do a lot of things. Why do we kill them, maim them, rape them, harass them? Why do we do that? Well, my theory is that we fear them. We fear women, yes, not physically. We fear them because she's so capable. Now let me tell you the story. If you go back 10,000 years to the caveman and cave women, 10 to 15,000 years, a typical morning was they get up in the morning and they eat breakfast, which she prepared. and which she probably enriched with ingredients she found in the field. They finished their meal, okay? He goes off hunting. He goes looking for whatever he's looking for with all the men. She cleans up, makes it tidy, okay? Makes it perfect for him to come back. Also, she goes out to she knows where the best foods are, the best vegetable ingredients to enrich the meat that he's going to bring home. Not only that, even more importantly, she knows the fields where the medicinal plants are. She was the first doctor. She was the first shaman. She was the first magician. Scary. And in a way, you make your whole life, look at the capabilities she has. Then, every 9 or 10 months, she shows up with another member of the clan. My God, can you imagine what he thought about that? Where does that come from? It's magic. Magic. The magic in her capability put fear in us way in our DNA long ago. And I think that's the reason why we fear women today. My advice to pieces, join them. Join them. They're very capable and they can help us. And oh, by the way, there's something else. She's capable of martial arts. Let me tell you, not only is she, in certain countries, she's serving in combat, but this is interesting. In Kenya, there are preserves where poachers are just running rampant, killing animals. They are training women because they trust women to be rangers, and they're training them like they train Navy SEALs. Think about that. The same weaponry, the same rigidity of discipline, the same martial arts. She's a very capable person. In the preserve, what they do is they put out signs and they say, we have these rangers, they're very capable, and if you conflict with them as a poacher, we will shoot to kill, and they do. So not only is this woman capable of all these soft things, but she's capable of being very martial. Let's join her, guys. That's the bottom line advice. They can help out us and the world. Now, what's the Geppetto moment? The Geppetto moment is simply keep a diary. Keep a diary of your emotions, of your ideas, what you heard, what you read, what you saw. Those things will become a database for you, a database that you can use when you have to make transformative decisions. Keep a diary, not be every day, but keep a diary, and it'll be a tool that you'll use very often, and a tool that you'll find very effective. Now, as we end near the end of the show, what do we cover? We covered two fundamental foundational thinking about transformative thinking. We covered the idea that a transformative idea has to be compassionate. It can't have any narcissism, can't have any self-gratification, no self-interest. It has to be good for everybody. Foundation, otherwise you cannot create a transformative idea. You cannot make a transformative decision. The second one is, you gotta get out of your comfort zone. Change is here. It's inevitable. It's not going away. I can assure you it's not going away. We have to join it. So that's what we covered. Then we covered three Geppetto moments. We said, change the environment. Let the environment be playful. A playful environment is an environment more conducive to transformative thinking. We also said, walk in stores. Be stimulated by what you see in stores. I am stimulated, again, with the caveat, don't go hungry. And the third thing we talked about, keep a diary. So those are the things we covered. Now, at this point, I'd like to share with you again a Geppetto challenge. Every town in Vermont needs to support its local businesses. They support the local businesses by bringing people there, by bringing tourists downtown. Now, how do you do that? You do that with panache. Now, what does panache mean? Panache means elan, energy, vigor, zest, flamboyance. That's what downtown has to have. That will bring people downtown to enjoy and support ours like that. Now, a specific case. Look at Pulteney. Pulteney, much of the panache from Pulteney came from the college, the Green Mountain College, which unfortunately closed. What a shame. Now, how are you going to renew that panache with the school? Now, I haven't really thought fully about this. This is just an idea starter to get you thinking about transformatively, and maybe you want to help. Why don't we take the homeless or immigrants, take the immigrants that are coming into our country and bring them here and put them in our dormitories. Dormitories are there. Why not use the classrooms to teach those people? We can get maybe companies to support the teaching, and we could create a labor force. We need a better labor force. We need younger labor force. We need trained labor forces in Vermont. We do that because our labor is leaving, our young are leaving. It's just an idea. Now, if you have ideas like that, send them to me and we'll discuss them. Or send them to your legislators and demand that they think in transformatively, that they use the tools that you know about. You use the tools you know about to come up with ideas that will be transformative, okay? Or thirdly, if you are in a position, it's very important, to make these kind of decisions, make them, folks, make them transformatively. Don't use old ideas. It won't help. And lastly, science is creating our future. When AI, artificial intelligence, really fully knocks on our door, it's here now, but when it fully knocks on our door, and you are a transformative thinker, you're thinking, transforming it creatively, when you open that door, it will be there to help you. On the other hand, if you're locked in your past and you're locked in old ideas, when you open that door, guaranteed, AI, artificial intelligence, will be there to replace you. Now with that, I'm Lou Scott. This is the Geppetto Room, where you don't have to be creative to be creative. You just have to be you. Till next time.